comprehensive plan says 6.3.
Right.
You know, that's where the problem is. If we don't change that, yeah, 264 might be right.
Okay.
But I think that there's a commitment, and I do have a story on Carl here later somewhere.
John McGarry's against it up for a while.
Okay.
Carl, I got a question for you.
Well, John McGarry has seen it for a while.
We'll let it fall off and shatter on the floor.
And we're just about out of time, so after this, we'll, maybe if you guys don't mind
Two
staying
things.
around.
Wouldn't it be better to accept a lower number at this point, that knowing that you don't know what you need to know? We do, in fact, you only got a very short deadline, and then simply commit yourself to revising the number within the next 18 months. There's nothing that goes benefit since you can't revise the number into a more solid, more knowledgeable number.
And that's a good point, because like Ken said, the planning commission asked us to accept a lower number for the EIS study.
Which doesn't mean that you never can consider it ever again, or that you might actually have to do it. The second question is, actually, question stated. These numbers are being presented as arithmetic projections. That's all they are. You go 10% in the past, you go 10% in the future. It doesn't cover anything, Dave, at all. Among other things, it regards all people as being fungible. That is, Ken and I are exactly the same. You just have the same as I. I mean, you're not young enough to have children and looking for a single-family house, maybe. Or you're older than I am and you're looking for an apartment to get out of your house and so on. There's no look at the actual population as it exists today and looking at their housing needs and where they want to be. Okay. Do we have enough senior housing? We have a baby, we have a boom generation, baby boom generation coming up into the 60s and 70s. Is this where they are today in the single-family houses of Bellingham? Is this where they want to be 10 years from now? Are we building the right thing? And if we build something different, we get free up housing here in the city for families. So again, I'm not saying this solves the whole problem, but I don't understand how you can understand the future if you don't even look at it today. You don't have to look at the city and say, we got 80-some odd thousand people, they live in these houses, so much rental, so much apartments around, so much affordable, so much non-affordable, but also the actual quality of the houses and the quality of the needs of people. The other thing is, there's a lot of things right now being built. None of it's in that projection, where it's only built. And if you don't build it, if you're looking at the growth of population in Bellingham, you have to build the houses already, put people in there. It's not to say there isn't zoning already. It's probably the numbers.
There's one more question.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Carl a question. Carl, you know, the projections of growth for the state runs roughly Bellingham and Whatcom counties, roughly at this period of time, 15% of the state population growth. Seattle, King County is going to diminish. Snohomish is going to increase it. Slightly less than us is Skagit. I've talked with some of the people in the rural areas of Skagit, and they seem to be more compatible with their solutions they've sought than here. And I don't quite understand why, you know, because you go through the same planning processes as it relates to the growth management. Have you got an answer to this or not?
Yeah, I'm not sure I know enough about what Skagit's willing to accept and not.
They seem to be that they feel that they're able to, rather than have rigid rules imposed on them, they're able to negotiate somewhat and get some of these things corrected as it relates to agriculture.
Right. In Whatcom County, actually, is protected way more ag land than Skagit.
Yeah,
so much which you actually always hear about how they're protecting ag land, and they're way behind Whatcom County in many ways.
Could you answer those questions, comment on those questions?
Yeah, because it's a fascinating decision why the Planning Commission asked us to consider a lower number, the 220,000 number, and the County Council voted 6-1 not to do that. So I'd love to tell you why that was, and I can only tell you why I voted against it. There was 3 reasons why people voted against it. There's a couple people on the County Council that would love to see UGAs expand all over and open up housing. There was people, it was going to cost us $25,000 to study a lower number, and our planning budget is broke. So we didn't know where the money was going to come from to add another number. There was a couple of people that's why they voted not to add that number. And the reason I voted not to add that number is because I think all this, which number you pick, is totally unimportant this time around. Because we have such huge capacity already that it doesn't matter if you pick 220,000 or 234,000, all of those people can fit within the existing city limits where the infrastructure already is. So it's not like if we pick a bigger number, a slightly bigger number, we're gonna go out and start putting sewer lines and roads and police stations in places, they can already fit in the city limits according to the stuff. So what we need to focus on are the policies that will drive people to the urban areas and instead of the rural areas. And those are things like impact fees, making people take care of their septic systems instead of just letting them go wherever they want, shoreline rules, all of the really hard decisions that we have to make too that don't even get incorporated in these discussions about which number you pick. Normally, which number you pick, like when we had the discussion about the Bellingham UGA 2 years ago, was really important because depending on which number we picked, you know, they wanted to expand by 1,000 acres. This year, we're going to be trying to figure out how to make all the UGAs go away. The Blaine UGA is 8 times bigger than what it needs to be. It's not going to be a discussion about expanding, it's going to be a discussion about how do we make that go away and how do you explain that to people who've invested in purchasing property in there because they were supposed to be able to put houses in there, and now we're going to tell them, no, it's only 1 house per 5 acres. We're going to get lynched this year. I don't know if people have read the Cascadia Weekly, but he's starting to hint this is going to be the perfect storm where the progressive majority of the county council gets tossed out because of the land use decisions we're going to have to be forced to make just before the election.
I respectfully disagree.
Well,
No,
there you go.
have to read one. It might be exactly the opposite.
Place your bets.
Listen, I just want to thank you all for coming. I really appreciate